Like the FF, the GTC4 Lusso is a long-roof hatchback A shooting brake, in European parlance that allows it to seat 4 and carry a reasonable amount of luggage. The model's all-weather capability and seating for more than 2 gives it a practical nature. The GTC4 Lusso retains its position as Ferrari's practical supercar, although it nudges things a bit more toward the supercar side of the house. The big mechanical highlight is the addition of 4-wheel steering. As any self-respecting new Ferrari must, the GTC4 Lusso also ups the performance quotient. Ferrari has lured a few more horses into its V12 corral. A higher compression ratio, now 13.5:1 sees increases in output to 681 horsepower, up from 651, at a lusty 8,000 RPM. Torque swells from 504 to 514 lb-ft at 5,750 RPM. Ferrari claims a 0 to 62 mph time of 3.4 seconds and a top speed of 208 miles per hour. The F12 TDF is named after the Tour de France, though it's likely not the one you're thinking of. While the Tour de France is almost exclusively associated with cycling today, it also refers to a popular automotive event that was held from the turn of the century up until 1986. Ferrari dominated the race's GT category from 1956 to 1964. Power for the latest limited edition prancing horse comes from an evolution of the naturally aspirated 6.3-liter V12 engine that's found under the hood of the regular F12 Berlinetta. By rebuilding the 12-cylinder using technology gleaned from the world of racing, engineers have managed to bump its output up to 780 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 520 pound-feet of torque at 6,750 RPM. Those figures represent increases of 40 HP and 12 lb-ft over the F12 Berlinetta. Bolted to a model-specific 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, the V12 sends the F12 TDF from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds, from 0 to 124 miles per hour in 7.9 seconds, and onto a top speed of over 211 miles per hour. The least interesting thing we can say about Ferrari's new 488 Spider is that it's little more than a 488 GTB with a retractable hardtop. Nor is the Alfresco Ferrari much of a surprise. We'd be more shocked if Ferrari had announced the 488 GTB would stay a fixed-roof coupe only. Everything else about the 488 Spider, however, is supremely interesting and exciting. Boring, of course, is a difficult achievement for any lithe, lightweight Italian supercar motivated by a 661 HP, twin-turbocharged, mid-mounted V8 engine. Slathering an extra layer of wow over the 488 GTB's already wow-inducing aura is the 488 Spider's retractable roof, which grants access to that wailing exhaust note and the sun, stars, and wind. Each trip up and down takes the 488's roof 14 seconds, and the compact assembly pancakes into a shallow nacelle behind the seats. According to Ferrari, the retractable hardtop weighs 55 pounds less than an equivalent soft top, although there's no word on whether said soft top was soaked in water or maple syrup before the numbers were crunched on that weight comparison. The result is the 488 GTB, not a wholly new car at $242,737, but an evolution of the primarily aluminum 458 Italia that preceded it. The engine, called the F154, is a more powerful version of the 90-degree, 4-cam, direct injected unit in the new California T. Displacement shrinks from the old 458 4.5 liters to 3.9, but horsepower rises by 99 to 661, while torque, never the strong suit of a typical short-stroke Italian screamer, ramps up by 163 lb-ft to 561. Compared to the 4.5, the 3.9 crankshaft sits lower by 3 mm and the engine's center of gravity drops by 5 mm despite the high-mounted turbos. Although it's not faster or more powerful than the 458 Speciale it is based on, the Speciale is the most radical road-going version of the 458 Italia ever launched. Keep reading to find out what makes it special. Under the shell, the Speciale is a standard 458 Speciale and gets its juice from the award-winning 4.5-liter V8 engine that Ferrari discontinued for the 488 GTB. The mill cranks out 596 horsepower at 9,000 RPM and 398 pound-feet of torque from 6,000 RPM and routes it to the rear wheels through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Although performance specs have yet to be unveiled, it's safe to assume that the 458 Speciale is as quick as the model it is based on and needs 3 seconds to hit 62 miles per hour from a standing start. Top speed likely remained unchanged at 202 miles per hour. The latest vehicle in a line of track-prepped, limited edition supercars is based on the LaFerrari and is the first to carry a hybrid drivetrain. Not only more powerful than its street-legal sibling, the FXXK is also more aerodynamic, lighter, and quicker. It's also a lot more exclusive, with only a few carefully selected customers having the privilege of ordering one. The FXXK gets the same hybrid drivetrain as the road-going LaFerrari, meaning the 6.3-liter V12 is paired with an electric motor. The combo is more powerful in the FXXK, however, now churning 1,050 horsepower, a significant 87 pony improvement over the standard LaFerrari. The V12 output increased from 800 to 860 horses, while the electric unit was updated to deliver 190 ponies instead of 163. Ferrari says maximum torque sits at more than the standard LaFerrari's 663 pound-feet. The total output makes the FXXK more powerful than its main rival, the McLaren P1 GTR, which is rated at 986 horsepower. The California T is Ferrari's return to forced induction, but where the last turbo Ferrari was the beastly F40, the T is far tamer. It's the softest in the Ferrari range, designed for daily ease and use. It even has a cup holder. Powered by a 552 HP 3.9-liter V8 mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch auto, the T is plenty quick and agile, though not as rewarding as a 488. The folding top tucks into the top half of the trunk. While technically the T is a 2+2, the rear is better suited for luggage. At first glance the Speciale looks identical to its coupe counterpart, albeit with some more headroom, and that is because it essentially is identical to the coupe. There have been a few small aerodynamic changes. Ferrari claims that this is the most aerodynamic Spider it has ever created, but overall the look is essentially the same as the base hardtop car. That means you get the same aggressive venting in the front fenders, the same massive diffuser, and the same cannon-sized exhaust outlets in the rear. It looks menacing from every angle, and I even find myself oddly drawn to that yellow paint. The greasy bits are the best bits when you are discussing a Ferrari, and the 458 Speciale A is no different. Sitting behind the two seats you will find a 4.5-liter, naturally aspirated V8 that produces 596 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of twist. It is the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 Ferrari has ever built for a roadster. It will complete the 0 to 60 mph run in less than 3 seconds. Expect a top speed at or around its coupe siblings 199 mph top speed. There's no avoiding that name. Yes, it's called the LaFerrari. Not Ferrari LaFerrari, just LaFerrari. It seems that, like Sting and Pete, NK and Beyonce, Ferrari has realized one-word names signify true status. We assume that those people must be happy because horsepower is happiness, and the driver has 950 at his command. The 6.3-liter V12 makes 789 at 9,000 RPM and revs another 250 RPM beyond that, as well as 516 pound-feet at 6,750. And we were impressed by the 730 HP this engine makes in the F12 Berlinetta. A lighter crankshaft, variable length intake runners, and equal length 6:1 headers hydroformed from Inconel help make the extra 59 HP. An electric motor hanging off the back of the 7-speed automated manual transaxle contributes another 161 HP, and Ferrari only will say that the combo makes more than 660 lb-ft of torque. With an expected curb weight barely more than 2,800 pounds, that's about half a ton lighter than the mind-blowingly fabulous F12 Berlinetta. The LaFerrari is expected to accelerate to 62 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds, to 124 miles per hour in less than 7, to 186 in about 15, and top out above 217. If you ask Ferrari, there are too many people who love the 458 Italia but are put off by its measly 562 horsepower and piddling 202 mph top speed. At least that's what we assume the thought process is, as the gang in Maranello pulls from the oven the 458 Speciale, a 458 variant that'll work even the sturdiest of leather kilts into a bunch. The naturally aspirated 4.5-liter V8 is now rated at 597 horsepower, although torque remains steadfast at 398 lb-ft. Ferrari says it's the highest output naturally aspirated Ferrari V8 of all time, and that its 133 horsepower per liter is the highest ever achieved by a road-going naturally aspirated engine. Equally as important is the Speciale's weight loss, with Ferrari quoting a dry weight of 2,844 pounds down from a claimed 3,042 pounds in the Italia, which gives it a power-to-weight ratio of 4.77 pounds per horsepower. The Italian mark says that 062 mph will take 3.0 seconds, which we find conservative as we've recorded 3.0 second runs to 60 in Italia guys in previous testing, and 124 miles per hour will arrive in 9.1 seconds. But, really, who's counting? We're all gentlemen here, right?